Good morning. Welcome to this edition of our Morning Jolt, where we share a simple thought from the heart of God, from the Word of God. And today I would like to start with Romans 5:12. It's not an easy verse. It says, "By one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for all have sinned." And this is about all of us, and this is about Adam and Eve's sin, and why trouble is in the world, and why we have problems, that sin has entered into the world by their sin, and there is sin in our lives, and that has an effect on our lives. And we don't like that message very much. Maybe you don't like to start the day with this, but I hope it's going to be something encouraging by the end. But this simple thought that sin has entered by us, and sometimes, and admittedly, this is the hardest question probably asked from Christians. If God is in fact a good God, if He is a benevolent, loving God, a kind God, a God who wants good for us, and if He is all-powerful, then why is there so much suffering in the world? Why are children dying of starvation in Africa? Why are there so many wars? Yeah, those are a very valid question. And it can be asked not just against God, but even by us believers. We can ask, but God, why is it so hard? Why are there so many hardships? And this verse kind of gives us an answer. Maybe not an answer that we like very much, but it is a good answer. It's a picture like, let's say you rented a room to me, beautiful room, walls painted clear, and everything is clean. There's beautiful artwork on the walls, furniture is new, and then in 2 months' time I give you back the room and I say, look, I'm not going to stay here. And you say, why? And I say, well, look, the walls are messed up with crayon markings, and this painting has been ripped all around, and the furniture is chewed up by a dog. And you could say to me, but wait a minute, it's your dog, it's your crayon markings. You were the one who cut up the painting for whatever reason. And this is what God could say to us. He could say, but listen, you're blaming me for something that I haven't done. You're telling me I owe you something when in fact you're the one who messed up the place. And that would be a very valid point. But God hasn't said that. In Acts 14:17 it rather says about Him, "Nevertheless, He left not Himself without witness, in that He did good, and gave us rain from heaven and fruitful seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness." He has given us food, gladness, rain, sun, fruits. This is beautiful. This is God's, we call, generic grace, which means that sun shines on everyone, rain falls on everyone, there are sweet strawberries for everyone, and except if you're allergic to it, but that it's for all of us, that it's given to us, it's generic. But then there is more for you and me. Believers, we have the Word of God, and God says to us a few verses later in Romans 5, He says that He has turned that, whereby one man sin has entered into the world and is plaguing all of us. Also by one man, Jesus Christ, His blessing has entered into the world and into our lives. And today you can say in your heart, wow, I am blessed by God because of this. Yeah, there is hardship and there is trouble, but the Word of God, not just the generic blessing, but something very specific, tells us, look, you have a beautiful thing in your hand. God is with you. Take hold of the Word of God. Live, follow the Word of God. Enjoy the Word of God. Obey the Word of God. And there will be a blessing in your life that you cannot deny, and you cannot even expect it. It's going to be so great. But this is what God has for us. This is so beautiful, because yes, there is hardship in life, but also there is the blessing. And that's the witness of that chapter, Romans 5, that the sin seemed like impossible to fix. But then on the other hand, Christ came in, and He's of a greater power. And this is the beauty in our lives today, that Christ is in our lives, and through the Word of God, by the Spirit of God, we take hold of this reality, and then we live this life this way. We know that we are blessed by Him, and we know that we have something beautiful in our lives. Despite of the hardships, we don't deny them, they are there, but we also know the God who can turn all that around, because He is greater than that. God bless your day, and